The Dazn curse strikes again. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to my Patreon, link in the description. I got some cool stuff coming. You guys should enjoy it. Great way to connect. I'm doing the group sessions pretty periodically now. You could also hit the YouTube channel membership button. Just hit the join button below to become same perks as Patreon, and it helps the channel grow in a phenomenal way. Now, the Dazn curse strikes again. Link in the description, sportbusiness.com. It says, as you guys see on the screen, exclusive, Dazn chief executive Denyer steps down. I'm not really good with names. Simon Denyer is leaving his role as chief executive of Dazn Group, the global sports subscription service and media company. Sports business understands amid an executive restructure that increases the involvement of owner Access Industries, the multinational industry group. Denyer is to be replaced by James Rushton, currently chief revenue officer, who becomes acting chief executive. Denyer will retain an association by taking a sports investment advisory role at Access Industries. An internal memo from John Skipper, Dazn Group executive chairman, informed staff of the changes today on Monday. The memo seen by Sports Business, so they've obtained a copy of this or whatnot, and it said that Access Industries owner Lynn Blavatnik, quote, has asked Simon Denyer to assume a new role at Access Industries to advise on new ventures in the sport. Rushton was chief executive of the Dazn OTT streaming business before Perform Group divided its assets to create two separate entities in September 2018. Denyer was at the time chief executive of the Perform Group, having co-founded the company for the Ollie Slipper in 2017. In addition, Ed McCarthy, Access Industries corporate director and portfolio manager, has joined Dazn and will sit on the company's executive committee, playing a critical role in delivering the group strategy, the memo read. McCarthy has already liaised with the Dazn senior leadership in recent memories. Changes will be effective immediately. Rushton is one of the old guard at Dazn Perform, having joined Premium TV in 2003. During the time, the group had roles. So it looks like some type of restructure. Skipper described Denyer as an innovator across many elements of the sport media industry and said his talents would be a tremendous asset to Access as the organization looks to explore new opportunities in the sports landscape. The need for funding at Dazn has become more acute in recent months, with the OTT streaming operation hit hard by the 19 shutdown. Skipper said in the memo that Dazn remains, quote, well positioned, whatever that's supposed to mean. You know, I mean, I know what the term means, but what I'm saying is it doesn't really illustrate anything, and that Access Industries supports its direction. This comes after Dazn last week secured a package of domestic broadcast rights in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria from 2021 to 2022, 2024 to 2025, an indication of the owners' ongoing appetite for premium sports rights despite the problems caused by the 19. At the end of March, Dazn began to inform sports rights holders that it would not make its next rights fee payments for any content that has yet to be delivered. An unspecified number of the company's 2,600 staff were also furloughed. Furloughed. So they didn't tell you the number, but that's how many people they have, and people were furloughed. The measures were put in place as Dazn looked to survive the crisis and revive the business later in the year. Rights payments have resumed as live sports have returned, with a deal recently struck for Series A right payments, and it was recently reported that Blavnik was looking for investors in Dazn. It also emerged recently that Dazn Group was in, quote, final stage negotiations to sell its Goal.com football website to a U.S.-based private equity from TBG. Executives with knowledge of the discussions told the New York Times that TGB is in talks to secure the business for as much as $125 million. News of the TBG or TPG talks coincided with Blavnik raising $1.9 billion by offloading shares in Warner Music. Right? Goal.com and the Sporting News and Spox websites are housed under Dazn Group, which also includes the flagship OTT streaming, business, and global operations. The data and betting sides of the business became part of the Perform Group, yada, yada, yada. Before the pandemic struck, Dazn hired Goldman Sachs with the view of raising as much as $500 million in investments. Dazn currently operates in 9 countries and has a plan to roll out a global service in May, including a long-awaited Southeast Asia. The launch remains on hold. Dazn rolls out mobile billing. These are related articles. So, listen, this is bad news. Like, okay, so this dude that you see in the picture, he's been reallocated and put in a different position. Now, this could mean a couple of things. This could mean that this is somebody that they're planning on, they want around and they're taking him out of this role because they might be trying to pull the plug on this and they're trying to secure him in a different position. Or maybe they don't agree with his leadership in his current role, so they just, reallocated him and put someone else in his position. So it can mean a couple of different things. But if you listen to what's being said in the article, these are all bad signs. Furloughing employees, rights payments were temporarily put on hold. It says Dazn was hit hard. Dazn is trying to raise money. It said they're selling equity. They're selling, where is it? It says it emerged recently Dazn Group was in the, quote, final stage negotiations. This was actually a little while ago, and I don't know if that deal was done. But even in the deal, and I understand the sum of money sounds like a lot. And to me or you, like an average person, it will be a lot of money, but you have to look at the business. So it says they're thinking about selling basically a soccer website for 125 million, equivalent to, 125 million US dollars, right? The problem with that is, even if okay, and then beneath it says, before the pandemic, Dazn hired Goldman Sachs with the view of raising as much as 500 million in investments. So 2 things I want to add. Before the pandemic, Dazn was looking to raise money because they were bleeding and hemorrhaging money, right? And then the pandemic struck, and then that knocked elements out of your business, which caused furloughs, which caused Canelo Billy Joe Saunders to not get announced, which caused your alleged global launch and opening up Dazn UK and different business ventures to be put on hold. It caused, I'm sure, a ton of people to drop off from the subscription. I know, in fact, I see on Twitter people saying they canceled their Dazn subscription or maybe even paused it. So money stopped coming in. So you had to try to patch those holes. So trying to we're still in the pandemic, trying to raise 500 mil now that people's money might be more scarce. People are going to have to analyze their buying decisions now. Like, do I really need to take this trip? Is it safe? Things like that. So if you were trying to raise 500 mil to help facilitate what you were doing before the pandemic, without a doubt, the pandemic has struck and hurt you, like it's hurt most businesses, but Dazn particularly, because they're newer in this field. They're not attached to like a network like ESPN and Fox and Showtime and CBS, things like that. So the other issue is this. It says Goal.com, which is basically a soccer website, is a particular website that I guess the Dazn, the people within Dazn, they own it, right? Just like they own Sporting News. So you see Eddie Hearn on there a lot, exclusive Eddie Hearn interviews, because it's owned by Dazn. Just like how Coke has its own products, like just different drinks that are under like Dr. Pepper or whatever, you know, and Coke or Pepsi has Gatorade, and then the other one has Powerade. So it's the same kind of thing. But this article, which I have already known about, but if this is information to you, they're thinking of selling this website to this equity firm, TBG Capital, for $125 million. Now, I understand they just did another deal to get soccer. That's not a U.S. sport. That's not a U.S. sport. I'm not saying it's not at all, like people but it's not as prevalent as areas like Mexico, Argentina, UK, stuff like that. So you're not really going to do like crazy numbers with soccer in America unless it's like, you know, pretty pretty advanced. It's like not everyone's watching games like the NBA or whatever. But anyway, they're trying to raise $125 million by selling this offshoot that they have, gold.com. And when you look at these inflated, crazy salaries that like people like Canelo have, then it spells trouble. Because let's say you sell it, which it's been taking a while from when I heard about it might get sold, the gold.com, to now, and I still haven't heard that the deal's been closed. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But either way, $125 million. What's $125 million if you're practically giving Canelo by himself $40 million? You know, 36.5 million per fight, and then losing money because he's fighting Ryota Murata, you know, or whoever that people don't really want to see, and it's not doing crazy numbers like you expected. So you look at Canelo's last two fights. Canelo reportedly got $36.5 million. So we could even round up. Right now, you round up and say let's say he got an even Steven $37 million, right? And then they said Danny Jacobs got $12 million, right? So I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but that's almost 50 million. That's 37 plus 12. That's 49. So let's round it up because that doesn't even include the undercard and other things like that. So that's a $50 million that you paid mostly just in your main event. And we know it's not doing the craziest numbers. He's not doing better than he was doing on HBO. That's for certain, you know. And then Kovalev was pitched the idea of fighting Canelo, and him being the champion at the time, he said he ain't doing it for less than what Jacobs got. So that was another person that got 12 million pre-pandemic in November versus Canelo. So that's another 50. So in two DAZN main events for Canelo, you've had to pay the main event 50 million two times. That's $100 million, bro. So if you look at pay scales like that, what is 125 million if you spent 100 million and really more when you start factoring in if these numbers are true that they say they're giving Canelo and Kovalev and stuff 12 million and 36.5 million. If you're giving money like that and then you're losing at the gate, now with the 19, the Rona, there is no live gate. You can't necessarily have a crowd. Even if you have a crowd, it's going to be at a reduced percentage because of safety reasons. So it's all bad. You see currently on DAZN, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight that pre-pandemic was established, and now it's been a bumpy road, and the fight looks to be off at the moment, and they're arguing over money. You have Chocolatito Estrada that was talked about for a fight, but they're arguing over money. So if you can see my drift, DAZN can't really trend and probably pay like they did Canelo's last two fights since the pandemic has struck. Because if you're raising 125 million for selling gold.com, I know that's not all the money that they have, but I'm saying that will be destroyed with really two Canelo fights at that pace that you were spending, right? So the implications for that is what? Canelo is going to have to find a cheaper opponent, or Canelo is going to have to take a pay cut, because you're going to just be losing. No live gate to supplement money, you know, or a reduced live gate, and then a cheaper opponent that no one wants to even see that fight. You know, this all spells trouble, people. And again, I understand they did a deal for soccer, but how long do you think a company is going to hemorrhage and bleed money in the failed part of their business and use and allocate money from the winning portions of their business to uplift the failing part of the business, right? Like the boxing, it says the future of boxing behind them in this picture right here. So how long can you bleed money in boxing? Lynn Blapnick and all these people involved. How long can you bleed money and take your profits? Because they might do good in the overseas market with soccer and, you know, Dazn Japan, if they release, you know, whatever, those different things. Because I think Dazn Japan, they're gonna be a part of. You're gonna be able to get it on a TV package over there or whatever. So how long are you gonna take profits over there and funnel it into your boxing stuff, which seems to be your biggest Achilles heel? Doesn't seem likely. And then with this guy leaving his role at DAZN and entering a new, you know, subsidiary or whatever, advisory role, Access Industry, that's very telling. You know, it could mean a couple of different things, but we'll see. To me, this looks like the DAZN curse continues. Like, why would you do a restructure if everything's perfect? You know, you typically, if it's a well-oiled machine, you usually see things, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if people are shuffling around and playing musical chairs, it doesn't usually mean something good. It means something, you know, you might liquidate something. So you're getting someone out of a role, putting them in a safer role so they have a future job. And then you pull the plug on the other thing. Or it could have meant, like I said earlier, the dude was bad at his role and it's losing. So you need someone else. You know, you don't want to just get rid of him totally. So you have to put him in a different role, but he's not able to fulfill the duties in that role. So you got to get someone else. You know, it could mean a couple different things, but usually doesn't mean anything good. Let me know what you guys think. ESPN Plus, use the link in the description. It does help the channel when you guys click on that. ESPN Plus, they got a lot of original content, docu-series. They got one on Bruce Lee, Lance Armstrong, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Dennis Rodman, 30 for 30. A ton of original content, archive fights, UFC and boxing alike. Get ESPN Plus if you want to help support my channel. The link to use, click on that, is in the description if you want to help me and help the channel. Get ESPN Plus as a standalone app, or you could bundle it, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. Get all three apps, one price, $12.99 a month. Let me know what you guys think of this latest DAZN news. We talk about the business. We talk about boxing. It is what it is. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.